This is Curative Design, and I'm Ruin Matthews. A few days ago, I happened upon a scene-by-scene comparison between the Live Aid sequence from the film Bohemian Rhapsody and the actual footage of the event where the band Queen played to a packed Wembley Stadium on July 13, 1985. It is both a bravura piece of filmmaking and an homage to what some might consider one of the greatest live performances of all time. Both the film and the actual footage capture frontman Freddie Mercury's showmanship and near operatic vocal talents. I recall as an 8-year-old boy catching glimpses of the concert on the television while we visited friends and family on what seemed to be just another Saturday afternoon in London. Some years later, I recall seeing a picture of the same man, only this time looking pale and gaunt, in the announcement of his death due to the still somewhat mysterious condition called AIDS. This was 1991. There are those who believe, and I count myself amongst them, that this act of publicly sharing the cause of his death was what contributed to the slow process of destigmatizing the disease and driving the will to commit resources towards researching its further understanding and treatment. Fast forward to our current time, and just a few months ago, the second case of a patient with HIV had been found to be virus-free after therapy. While it may be premature to be using the word cure, this suggests at the very least that a huge milestone has been reached. This made me reflect upon what many may consider the silent epidemic of our times, the dual-headed beast of substance use disorder and suicide in our nation's youth. The figures are astounding and in many ways hit very close to home. Every 19 minutes, a person in America dies from an opiate overdose. And over 50% of adults in America have a mental health disorder at some point in their lifetime. I've seen families touched by tragedy similarly and bravely using the platform that a funeral provides to share their struggles as a family with depression and substance dependence. And indeed, there are no solitary victims here. When a child dies, it is rarely for the lack of trying on the family's part to claw their loved one away from the brink. Perhaps the very least we can do is to listen, take heed of their tragic lessons, and teach ourselves about the warning signs of depression and substance dependence. Some of the most impressive work I've seen to date comes from the very community that I work in, Auburn, Washington. The program is called READY, short for Real Emergency Aid Depends on You. It centers around the idea that with a fairly limited amount of training, one can be ready to provide life-sustaining aid to a person in a mental health crisis. We know that these programs work, as demonstrated by the success of basic life support, BLS, and cardiopulmonary resuscitation programs around the country. Only instead of trying to support a heart that has stopped beating, it aims to provide practical information on how to de-escalate a person in crisis. The more this knowledge is shared, the higher the chances of saving a life, let alone many. Now, I'm not the only one that considers this program innovative. In 2018, the American Medical Association awarded City of Auburn Mayor Nancy Bacchus the Nathan Davis Award for her part in bringing the groundbreaking READY program to reality, with plans for a regional and hopefully national rollout in the coming months. I've included the links about the program and subsequent award in the notes section below. And though this work won't bring back those who we have lost, I like to think that Freddie Mercury would have approved our turning these moments of tragedy into something much more powerful, a prescription for compassion for those still with us. This is Curative Design, and I'm Ruin Matthews.